My name is Dickson. These are all of my awesome social media handles that you can follow me. I like to get lots of follows. And I'm glad that Jackie went a little over because mine's not going to be very long. I'm just going to be talking about selling outside the box. But first, I just want to kind of touch on thinking and living and doing outside of the box because I think that's the basis to even being able to sell outside of the box. So I consider myself to be someone that's always been a little bit outside of the box, starting with here. This is me at my very first ballet recital. And my parents signed me up for dance class like many young kids and had my first recital and all the kids line up and they're dancing and when we're finished we bow and me being the person that thinks outside the box as I am, I decide to run outside around the curtain and get out front and do my own dance in front of everybody once everybody else was gone. So that's kind of like where it started with me just doing my own thing and thinking and behaving outside of the box. That's me. Yes, you missed that part. That's me in my first outside of the box behavior. So I was able to, get through childhood without a glitch, but I've always been a person to just know that I wasn't meant to be on the traditional in the box path. I just wasn't sure exactly what it was yet. I went to the Ohio State University. We are the national champs in football, in case you didn't know, and that's Obama with one of our jerseys. But I studied journalism and marketing and just, again, going to college and thinking, okay, this is the thing that I should do, go to college, get my degree. This is in the box. I mean, a degree is good, but it's still in the box. So after I graduated from college, I got a really nice in-the-box job, corporate job at Nationwide Insurance. And ironically, I worked on the branding campaign where they changed from the eagle as their logo to the box as their logo, which again, just kind of, I think just the mentality of the box being pushed towards people of this is how you do things. You buy your insurance this way in this box and don't soar too far outside of the way we're thinking. But when I was working there, that was my first corporate experience and I did very well and I just never felt like I really belonged. I had a great position, I made great money, and my parents felt like I made it. I got out of college, I got a good job, I have insurance, I have a 401k, and I am living the American dream, but I didn't feel so good about it. So my good friend Brandon Kraft, we worked together at Nationwide, and we don't really look like very much corporate people, maybe inside of the box thinkers, and that kind of is a great depiction of just, who we are. So we're both working at Nationwide, and we're thinking, we don't belong here. We don't feel like we should be here, but what should we do? So we decided to, back in 2000, start a website. And so, we didn't know what we were going to be getting into. Entrepreneurship back in the late 90s when I was in college was not a class, and it was nothing that was encouraged for us to do. So we decided to just take the leap out of the box completely into entrepreneurship. And for me, this is exactly what entrepreneurship feels like, and it still feels like that every day. It feels like I'm just flying through the air wondering if I'm going to hit the ground or if I'm going to continue to soar. But we decided to start this business, and that is when I first jumped out the box into the world of entrepreneurship, and I started a website that gave out information about events going on, and I was also an event planner. During this time, it caused me to be able to have to go to many events and functions, dressed up, and doing many things that I had to wear heels, which, that's what you do when you go out, you wear heels. So one of these particular nights, I was out in heels, looking good, and even though it's happened before in the past where I experienced this particular night, my feet were like screaming at me, and they felt like this. So they're screaming at me, and I'm out, and I'm like, what can I do? I can't put any shoes in my purse because they don't fit. And I'm a Chuck Taylor kind of girl, and I definitely can't take my Chucks to the party or wear them with a dress. So I'm like, why can't we just have shoes that roll up? I mean, why not? I've never seen them, but who's to say we can't have shoes that roll up? So again, just me with my normal thought process of just outside of the norm, instead of being like most women and saying, I'll just leave some shoes in the car and change when I get there. That's in the box. Or I'll just wear some more comfortable heels. That's kind of in the box because I wanted to wear the high, sexy 6-inch heels that definitely hurt. So I said, okay, why can't we have these? And then I made them. So I created flat out of heels, and they're rollable flats that you can carry in your purse, roll in, fold. You can carry with them with you and wear them when your feet hurt. They're very durable. They're great, lightweight, awesome. So I made them. Now what? I had to ask myself, and that's why I'm here today to talk about selling outside the box, because the first thing is I made something for me because my feet hurt. But then it's like, okay, well, here's the process of getting it out there. And the first question is, who am I selling it to? So I'm like, who am I selling these to? Well, women that wear heels, which is 1 in 10 women in the United States wear heels at least once a week. So that's a large amount of women. But how am I going to reach them? And, that's just like so many people. But why even should they buy them in the first place? Because I say so? I mean, what are the reasons? How can I drive this to them? How can I get them to think and see it as I see it? And especially just with, with guys. I mean, you guys never wear heels, but how can I get people to buy these for friends, family, etc.? Well, because obviously women's feet hurt when they wear heels, and a lot of us end up looking like this. And because many women fall down and hurt themselves, 48% of women have had an injury. And because if you don't, then your feet are going to be dirty if you walk barefoot. Like 78% of women have done walking barefoot. And then it's just, when your feet hurt, I'm like the Olivia Pope of when your feet hurt. I mean, it's handle, right? Like that's what. So then it's like, okay, I got this product. I know who I'm selling to, and I know why they should buy them. But where are they? How can I sell to them? How? So this is something to ask yourself. When you have this great product, where are the people at? What are they doing? So for me, I'm like, all right, women in heels. Well, I know they're at nightclubs because that's where I spend a lot of my time in my former career. So they're in a nightclub. They're at conferences. They're working. They're busy. They're businesswomen. They're dressed up like we are today. They're wearing heels. They're moms getting off work and getting into the car and pick up their kids. They're in airports. So just thinking of where they're at festivals, they're at events. Where are they? So I just started making this checklist and just figuring out, okay, where they at? Where am I going to reach them at? First place, everybody's online. Most people are not who's not under a rock. So I'm going to start by selling in the box, literally selling them online. That's the first place. Then partnering up with other sites to find my customer and partner up and sell on their website. A lot of times we'll get a product or we'll have a business and we'll feel so attached to it that we won't let it free. And we'll say, well, if I put it out there, then somebody's gonna steal my idea. Or, what if they don't know it's me and they get it confused with other products? But for me, it was more of just getting to my customer by any means necessary and finding them everywhere that they're at. And my customers are all these places, so I'm gonna meet them there. But I didn't stop there. They're in the stores, right? They're shopping. So, all right, let me get my products on the shelves in their favorite boutiques to where they're shopping at. Just going down my list of where are they. They're walking around at events. They're at Art Basel. They're thinking they're going to go to an art show and look really pretty in their outfit, but them coming from out of town not knowing they're about to be walking for about 5 hours straight in those high heels. So I did a pop-up shop at Art Basel and do pop-up shops all the time so I can meet the customer right where they are. Oops. They're partying in Vegas for New Year's. So here we are at a feet rescue station in Vegas. The ladies are in the casino. We're in the casino. We're saving their feet. They're at festivals and events. Where are they? They're at the airport traveling. So in order to meet that traveler, I obviously can't pop up in an airport. So I created a vending machine to sell my flats. So a woman can be in the airport right now in the Atlanta airport. She's traveling, she's getting off the plane, she's getting on a plane, she's going somewhere to a meeting, she's going somewhere to party. Flat outs are available for her right there in the vending machine. When I first came up with this idea, and this was the out-of-the-box idea for flat outs. I mean, of course, there were other products on the market that were rollable or foldable flat, so I didn't invent this, but my product has a durable sole, and they are the best product on the market, and I know that. But the outside of the box idea was the vending machine. And so many people told me in the very beginning, It's not a good idea. It's not gonna work. People are not gonna buy shoes out of vending machines. How are they gonna try them on? How can they return them? Where's the customer service at? I mean, just tons of questions. It's too capital intensive. It costs too much to build a vending machine. All the reasons why I can't do it, but for me, what kept me going is my customer needs it. It's right there. It doesn't matter to me what anybody says or their opinion. My customer is there in heels and she needs this product. So, you know, that's what kept me going. And even as well, I've read something about Zappos. And when Tony Hsieh, who's the CEO of Zappos, was out raising funds to build Zappos, they told him, nobody's ever gonna buy shoes online. It doesn't make any sense. People need to try on shoes. Why would people purchase shoes online? It's just silly. $9 billion a year done on online shoe sales. Of that $9 billion, $1 billion of that goes to Zappos. So obviously, people do buy shoes online. His out-of-the-box thinking and disruption of a market when people told him he couldn't do it, in the end proved to be a genius idea. Where else are my customers? They're in nightclubs. We talked about this. So I place the vending machines in nightclubs. I have one in Club Live in Miami, and we also do pop-ups at several nightlife events in Atlanta, Miami, Vegas, Delaware, just wherever the woman is at, we're in heels. The next concept that I'm working on, just me constantly thinking, how can I reach my customer? What can I do that nobody else is doing, is my feet rescue truck. So this is my rendering. I have not brought it to life just yet, but this is another concept that I have of a way to reach women who are at large festivals and large events. Imagine, you know, the women at Ultra Music Fest, and they're coming out of the concert or Winter Music Conference, or one of the many things that go on here in Miami. They're coming out, they can get a truck, get a beverage, get their feet rescued, and they're on their way. And I continue to always, I have a couple other concepts of just ways to reach my customer. Then after I figure out where they're at, how am I gonna reach them, what is gonna make them keep coming back? You know, and that's another process of being creative. And the first thing I thought was, well, of course, besides making a quality, amazing product, give them several options. Give them things that they want. Give them styles and different things that they need. And throughout this whole process of me just trying to identify how to reach the customer, it's definitely helped me to be more in tune with just the overall market and just marketing in general. Next one. So it worked, and Flat Out of Heels has been doing great, and our customers are the #1 champions for the business. But I still need to reach more customers, and I'm still working to continue to push outside of the box even more. Before I go to the last slide, I missed the part, I don't know if we all talked, but I really wanted my part to be a little bit more interactive so that maybe we can talk about how we can stimulate some more additional thoughts about outside of the box in terms of selling for anybody in particular. So if anybody would love to volunteer for us to use you as a case study or a brainstorming, I would love that, because then we can kind of put our heads together and think of ways that maybe you could reach your audience and sell your product as well. Because I go to conferences all the time, and I just don't like to sit and stare at people. And I don't want you staring at me, because I don't like getting stared at. I want to talk to you. So if anybody in here has a business that we can talk about how we can reach your customer outside the box and start throwing out ways, or just even brainstorm like I did, where are they at, what are they doing, it'd be really cool just to jump in and give you all some more ideas. Because especially with a retail product, I have a consumer product, so I don't have an app, and I don't have tech. So I have to be very hands-on with my approach to getting to my customers and finding out where they are at for sure. But I'm sure some of you have some other technologies that maybe we can explore different types of ways that we can grab customers before I move on. Anybody? Yeah.
You know how it's great for you? Do you know the sensors, the new sensor that just got released, where you walk into a store, it sends a notification to your, I'm sure you got it, to your text, you get text?
I mean, geolocation?
Huh?
Geolocation, Margaret?
No.
beacons.
Yeah, right. So the second you, like the little beacons on the sides of the entry door when you walk into a store, like if you go today, or some of them have it, and the second you walk in, boom, you get an email, because the beacon sensor your cell phone. So what happens is you can attach those beacons to your machines. So So when your clients are in the vicinity, because you have right now you physically have to go and look for this machine, right? And if you don't physically find it, you miss it. But if you send a beacon to anybody around certain perimeter, and they're very simple to make. So if you can download the app and just create. Attach it to the little machine, and everybody that's in the area, boom, gets a text message by the way it flies right around the corner.
I never knew about that.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. See, somebody else wants to hear that. Can you say it again? What is it? Beacon.
It's a beacon. It's a part of the IoT, Internet of Things.
Yeah. I'm actually, in the next presentation, we're going to talk about tech and retail, and that's one of the...
Yeah, oh, good, because I need that, and that's another outside of the box thing, but that's the cool thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, so many of us are in here, and we know so many things as individuals, but if we could just share some of those things. The best conference I ever went to was something that was very engaging with entrepreneurs together, talking about strategies they use to sell, and I learned so much. So I want to, if anybody will pick, one person doesn't want any outside of the box ideas.
I can understand for a product that is physical, but if you have a service or technology, you might be.
I don't think so, because I had a consulting company for 10 years, so I was the service per se, and so the same questions still apply. It's like, where are your customers? How can you reach them? What will make them come back? These are all the same things that you still need to use. It's not the same as a consumer product. So let's say, I know what you do already, so I just heard it yesterday. So, I'm going to use her because I really like your website. So she sells African fashions. Well, the designers can list their African-inspired fashions from Africa on the website, and designers can put their fashions there and sell them. So the same questions would go for her. So let me go back to my process. Where are your customers? So if you could we can just engage a little bit, and other people can maybe jump in as well. So where are your customers?
They're all over the world. A lot of them are here in the U.S. I guess most of our customers have been like African American women who just want to connect to the continent in some way. Hey, they find African sex is a great way to do that.
So they are all over the world. So most of, my customers are all over the world too. So we have to really figure out how to narrow it down and specifically say where. Is there a particular country, or is there a particular community? Since you're a website, is there a particular online community, non-retail related online community, where your consumer base congregates, shares, blogs, references? Where are they? So they're in social media. Where else are they?
You need to look for zip code areas. Where do they normally purchase, your products, for example? Let's say, look at similar companies where you would say, okay, this is my competitor, and this is where they live, around this area. Let's say they live in the Pinecrest area here in Miami. Then you're going to target the zip code areas in the Pinecrest area, and you're probably going to send out mailings, postings, so that you can target people to go into your website, or you can send, you definitely have to send information out to those zip code areas, but that's one small way of doing it, and it's cost effective.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost too much to do it.
I've noticed that a lot of my customers are in terms of locations, whether they're New York or LA or Atlanta, and so I'll do things like target Facebook ads to those places, and I found that to be very effective.
Exactly. So that's the cool thing about analytics and many of the reporting tools available through social media now. For me, even when I'm thinking, okay, I have global customers. Of course I do. Women are in heels in every country, right? But I can't say blindly I'm marketing to every country. So I really looked at my data, and I noticed that a majority of my sales, a high percentage of my sales, were coming from Georgia. That's where I lived for 8 years. So specifically the Atlanta area, a high amount of sales there. Miami, and then Florida and the surrounding, because I live here, and obviously for me going out to events and pitching and doing things, people become aware in that way. Ohio, that's my hometown, and I'm a Buckeye, so received a lot of press and things in that market, so a lot of people are shopping from there. And then surprisingly, right underneath those three was Cairo, Egypt. And I'm like, what? You know, like that was nothing that I was targeting in any way. Like, where did this come from? But me knowing where the strongest source of my customers are coming from, of course, like lots of other places, but being able to segment those, I was able to do targeted ads on Facebook, targeted Google AdWords, targeted things on SEO, and then also go out and build partnerships. So when you say, where are they? The partnerships that I built some partnerships in Cairo, Egypt, and I now have 8 boutiques in Cairo because they were trying to order online and waiting a month for a product to get there. So it's a matter of now for you, where are they? Okay, they're online, but now segment and figure out where the zip codes are great. What zip codes are they at heavily? Because if you see a strong base of customers in one region, dig deeper and find out, I wonder why all these people from this area are coming to my site, how they find out about me. In particular for you, if there's say like, you know, use Miramar as an example. Let's say Miramar, there's a lot of orders from there. You're like, why are all these people in Miramar doing this? Well, it could be a strong population of those women that are really into the fashion. It could be something like, you know, the Ankara event, and maybe she's promoting that and it's increasing awareness. But find out why and try to partner with those things in that community, especially if you're an online-based business or service. Is find out how you can partner with things and more grassroots to the people that are there. And that's what we do a lot. We sell online, and 85% of our business is online. But we partner in the community. We go to events. We do pop-up shops. We try to engage the customers directly. And it's so important because even though we can sell shoes online, people do still want to touch them and feel them, and it does help. And if you have some kind of a tech product or another service, people want to see you engage with you. Same thing that Uber does, same thing that Airbnb does. You know, they engage, they're in the community, they're out there, they're touching with the people that are using the product. So utilizing things like analytics to find out where your customers are and looking at your historical sales data will help you to even better target your group of customers. So then the next question, well, why should they? For you, why, once you figure out who you're selling to, why should they buy from you as opposed to anywhere else?
I mean, I always try to sell the story and where it comes from. So, I mean, we have over 50 vendors all over the place. So we try to talk about the women who make these pieces and their stories and why they do it, and talk about how it's making an impact on them and their families and their communities. And then we also push that, you know, the people that are so really high quality, and that, you know, what you're getting will last you forever.
So in her case, she's selling the story as the why. For me, I'm selling the solution. You know, your feet hurt, that's why. But for her, when there's many options where women can go, it's telling the story of you're getting some one-of-a-kind pieces from this particular woman who's a real person. And you can know that instead of walking into a store and you're getting an outfit made from some fabric that just came from a ream of fabric from a factory, you can know that there's a woman behind this. It's a story. And so that is another way to engage. And just thinking of ways to sell without selling. Because what I have learned, you know, from going from selling insurance to shoes is that people don't really want to feel like they're being sold to. They want to feel like they're being engaged, talked to, they're a part of a community, they're a part of something, and then they just buy it because it's what everybody else does in that community. It's not something like, buy these shoes, it's like, well, the cool people that wear these nice shoes that go out, they wear, you know, that wear nice stilettos that go out, they wear flat out. So I consider myself to be a cool person. I probably should be wearing flat outs too. So you want them to think that way instead of driving it to them like, buy. Even when I measure my effectiveness of my social media campaigns, my lifestyle photos and my lifestyle posts perform much, much better than posts that are a direct sell. So then an ad saying, you know, buy these shoes, or then a woman looking good in the shoes gets way more engagement. So I think, again, that's kind of outside of the box thinking, because traditionally in the sales background that I come from, you're selling. You pitch, you sell. But just like, what's the movie when he said, sell me this pen? And they're like, it writes and all that. Just write. You don't have to even say anything. Just show them how it's applied, your product is applied in their life. And that's a way to sell without ever even selling anything at all. It's just showing them how they can use it. Anybody else would like to get some ideas, or anybody else have any ideas for her outside of the box, or anything you can think of for her?
Just quickly, so that let you know we do a lot of testing. I mean, we spend thousands of dollars on testing, hundreds of thousands of dollars on testing, because our clients are huge corporate. And we do the same thing for them. The way you can do it is, and what's working great. Facebook is probably the greatest data mining place on earth. I mean, go to the Facebook Insight, Audience Insight, and you should try to build your tribe first. In the old days, we used to build a blog and we used to write this content. Because there's just so much content out there that no longer works as good as it used to. So now try to drive traffic to build your tribe first. Don't try to sell them, just build your tribe. And the way you do it is go to Audience Insights on Facebook. You're going to have to test it. Start with $5 a day. Run a few hours, until you get the data. Give it about 3 days, because it takes about Facebook about 3 days to start beginning to understand who your audience is. And then tweak it based on what you get that data after 3 days. Tweak it a little, then wait another couple of days. Give it about a week. Within a week, you should have very powerful data on who's coming to your site, what's working, what's converting, and by the time you get the data within about a week, scale it. But don't go crazy. Don't go from $5 to $50, because I see people go, oh, this is working, let's go. Facebook's going to figure out how to blow your $50 into
Oh yeah,
in 20
so
minutes.
fast.
Trust me, it's not going to scale you, it's just going to go broke. So go ahead at $5, so now make it $10. And give Facebook time to understand your audience. It's going to start, gathering data, give it about 3, 4, 5 days, tweak it again, add another $5, and scale little by little, and you will see the data. And trust me, within a couple of weeks, you will know who your customer is. And you don't have to spend $500 or $1,000. And the next step, once you understand who that customer is, before you drive into your website, before you launch any product, before you do anything, build your tribe. And there's two critical benchmarks on Facebook: 10,000 and 25,000. When you reach that 10,000 mark of fans in Facebook, something happens. And I'm sure it has to do with Facebook algorithm. And then when you hit the 25,000, something else happens. And again, it has something to do with the Facebook algorithm. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you that when you start reaching people, it's worlds apart when you hit that 10,000. So the second you hit that 10,000, by then you have enough data of who your customer is. By then you know your conversions. By then you will have a very clear idea who you should sell to. You will have a tribe. And at that time, they have the tribe tell you what you should be selling. So they tell you, hey, we want skirts. Hey, we want shirts. Don't go and sell it to them. Have them tell you what they want. Just simply deliver it. Nothing like Facebook Insights. Nothing out there.
That's what I do with mine. I ask my customers what color shoe do they want. I mean, I put out what I thought they wanted, and now that I have, so many, my tribe is so large that now I ask them what they want. You know what I want to ask you, when you're talking about Facebook, I just want to get your opinion, and I'm sure everybody can benefit from this, but there's a little trick technique that I learned where we'll boost a post, or we'll do a boost post or ad. We'll add about $300. We'll boost it for like $300 for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then go back. Like if we know in our mind our budget for this boost post $25. What I've discovered is that Facebook, they've changed things over the past couple years, the way that you're able to engage with people. It's way less. So what I've learned is that I'll boost it for like, if I don't want to do 25, I'll boost it for like 300 and get Facebook to go into overdrive for it, and then within an hour go and change it back to 25. Now you have to really monitor and watch it, but have you done that before and seen? I've seen that really works, but I don't know what, I'm just asking you what you think.
I'm going to tell you straight out. Boost makes one person and one person money. And that's, what's his name, the owner of Facebook?
Yeah.
Boost is zero. Don't waste a dollar.
You think
don't waste
so?
a penny. Don't waste any money. Because the only person that makes money out of Boost is Zuckerberg. The way you do it You do the same thing, but you do it from your post.
Yeah.
Okay, no from boost.
No, from the post.
Right, but that's different. You go, you know the one you download, the app you download, the Chrome app?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
Extension.
Yeah, but the one you download all your campaigns, oh God. When you go in Facebook on the left, it's called,
The campaign manager thing, like the.
yeah, but the one that you download on your computer, it's called the, whatever. Anyway, I'll tell you in a second, I'm gonna look it up. If you open up Facebook, I tell you right now. But you download your computer, it only shows up in Chrome. And what happens is it allows you to do more stuff that you can do on the online Facebook, on the campaign manager. And what happens is it allows you to add, because when you do campaigns in Facebook, when you do ads, you're limited by whatever Facebook. You're limited on the size, you're limited on the call to action, it restricts you so much. When you do it from your own post, no post, from your own post, you can tell a story, you can do this, you can do that, whatever. And you drive that post through as an ad. Not the ad, but your own post, not through boost.
Okay.
Because boost is
No boost.
no boost.
No boost.
No, do you use boost by any chance? Okay, you get the point.
No, so I'm done boosting
Yeah,
posts
so
now.
go and post when you post and drive you post. Also, when you're doing videos, never drive the video from your website, from YouTube into Facebook and drive that video. Always upload the video into Facebook. Your CTA, your cost is going to go down by a gazillion because Facebook wants to keep everything in its own ecosystem. Right. So what happens is when you upload the Facebook video into your Facebook page and you drive that video, and that video drives into your website, it's going to cost you pennies. And you're going to get so much more traffic.
See, but where does the source of that video come from? Like you have
You
to
upload it.
harbor it somewhere.
No, but you don't upload it, right?
Directly into Facebook.
Yeah, like a photo.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be huge difference in cost. And I'm talking like 80%, 70% difference. So what $100 buys you on ads, you can literally, for $10 you can accomplish anything.
As opposed to bringing traffic from
Right.
Facebook and YouTube
Right.
and then going back to your
Right, because what Facebook thinks is, see, Facebook wants to keep everything there, right? That's what Facebook wants.
everything.
Yeah. So in the old days, we used to say, don't build Facebook first because God forbid they shut you down tomorrow, you lost everything. Well, you know what? It's not true anymore. Don't put all your ads on Facebook, but build your tribe on Facebook and make that tribe drive to your website. You still need your website, you still need to run your website. But it's the power of that tribe that really is going to drive your sales. Or drive into your Amazon sales, or drive into your eBay sales, or whatever it is, your funnels. But that's how you do it.
Awesome, thank you. So, again, I am, just like all of you all, we're all learning at the same time. And so I love things like this where we can just engage. And if anyone else has anything they would like to share about, like she did, that would help someone else to grow, sell, you can throw it out now. If you have, yeah.
There's one more from the audience.
Okay, cool. No more tips? All right, cool. And then just my last thing to say was always, for me, when it comes to selling again, just telling the lifestyle, telling the story, and not so much selling, it's PR. And you don't have to hire a PR firm. I've actually learned that you should not for a long time because it's very expensive. And you can do your own PR. You can go through HARO, which is Help a Reporter Out, and they send you a email twice a day, and it's HARO, and it'll say, we're looking for somebody to talk about this, or we're looking for a small business owner that makes shoes. That would be me. Or we're looking for somebody to talk about tech. Like, there's all day long, every day, they're looking for people to weigh in on a story, and that's a great way to get some coverage. Also, just cold sending things out. Sending things out to people on your own. I read a lot of online blogs and online entrepreneur news. It tells you the author's Facebook, Twitter handle, and their email right there. I'll email the author so quick of an article, hey, you wrote about that person? Write about me. I'm cool too. Write about me. And they'll reply back. And that's how you get it out there. And so, I was trying to raise funds for a long time. And I was not being as successful as I would like to be. So I found a way to spin that into a story. And I found myself on the homepage of Yahoo talking about how I wasn't doing a good job of raising money. But hey, I'm on the homepage of Yahoo. So it drove a ton of traffic to my website. And instead of raising money, I made thousands in sales. So however you can figure out a way to spin it. But yeah, you know, I got on a show called The Biz Fix with Marcus Lemonis, and the topic was not having enough money for your business. And people reached out like crazy, like, you know, people say a lot of stuff, but I'll give you an investment money. But the most important thing was the sales. So anything can be spun around. I mean, anything, any challenge you face, somebody else has faced it. Talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it and put out there and tell your story of growth while you're telling the story of your business, because people really love Flat Out because of me. And I pushed away from that for so long, but it's really because of me, because they have felt a connection with me. And making your customers, especially with a product like that's very closely inspired like yours, letting them know where the inspiration comes from and the things you go through as you're growing it will definitely engage them and bring more traffic to your business and bring a way to sell without exactly selling. So that's my piece. We already did the questions, and thank you very much for having me.